on landscape mode. Hopefully it did throughout the entirety of the video.
Some previews of what this game is going to be about. You can see some of the things listed here, but the main thing we're going to talk about for this video is Grace Ashcroft taking on a protagonist role.
Requiem.
Now, this leads us to Reforge Gaming. I don't know if you guys know who this is, but from my observations, he's somewhat of a lolcow in the gaming scene among content creators at this point, and it kind of is confirmed because every time I see this guy, it's a clip of him and it's some out-of-pocket stuff where he's being made fun of, and today is no exception. So he had this to say about the design of Ashcroft, saying, dudes are already calling the Resident Evil
9 lead protagonist the epidemic of loneliness and misery. So, like, I mean, she's not fucking ugly. She got some masculine
lead protagonist
figures.
Ugly. An epidemic
I would just say she
of
doesn't have like a
loneliness
low-cut
and
shirt.
misery
She's in her 40s.
is truly making some of you insane. First of all, projection with this part right here. But also they're making the claim that people are calling this character ugly and woke and all these things.
I was gonna say, I don't think this character's ugly at all.
In their streams and stuff when they clarify these points they're trying to make. But yeah, there's a couple things to establish here, right? There would be a note added to this saying without a single evidence of the claim, this account is just trying to rage bait for engagement, which is against the TO.
Now, see, he might be doing that. He's more than likely doing that. But now we're both talking about it, so it kind of worked, even though, like, I wouldn't call this character ugly at all. I genuinely wouldn't. She's, like, not hot, don't get me wrong either, but I'd still fucking tap it. So, like, I don't know. Like, it seems like he's trying to rage bait fucking, to get both interaction from the left and right on this one.
Yeah, because there's really nothing to find here, right? They said this with almost no evidence to back it up, and then they scrambled to try to find little breadcrumbs of people complaining about this character's design, including people from Asmongold's stream, which we'll get into in just a second.
Must have really
but next I want to say,
it,
looking at this character design, I think it's good. Like, yeah. I don't know, you can feel free to disagree in the comment section. At the very least, I think it's fine.
So, like,
you know?
I'm not even going to lie. I came into this video, like, thinking I was going to disagree with this dude's take, like, full-heartedly, but I agree with him. Like, and I guess he agrees with me also, because, like, she's not ugly, but, like, I wouldn't say she's, like, fucking drop-dead gorgeous either, but she's not ugly at all.
The only comments I could find searching around was some people saying it's a bit stale. And that's about as far as I could find in terms of negative comments. But in the reply section, some people were really gassed up by what was going on. They believed this narrative being spread here. You can see the batch here replying with this absolute alpha male comment right here. These guys are effing losers.
Well, of course, because, like, that's what's been common in the gaming space right now, has been to call any female protagonist ugly. Well, not any. Like, we got Stellar Blade that came out. She's pretty hot. But, like, we have, like, things like The Witcher 4, when, like, you actually got to see the gameplay. She didn't look as bad as the initial, like, knee-jerk reaction from the trailer and everything like that. And, like, you have the fucking whole thing with Interstellar that happened, which, honestly, that is a bad character design and everything else like that. And they're, like... You got all these female characters that are coming out, and the narrative has been nonstop that these people are complaining about how they're ugly. But I feel like they think that we think all females in gaming are ugly. Like, they think we're actual sexists. Like, and all we just want is, like, fucking alpha, fucking, like, hot as fuck chicks. Like, we can't have, like, normal everyday girls looking in there, because, like, normal everyday girls are ugly. Like, actual normal everyday girls aren't ugly, and they can be in video games. They don't have to be fucking giant double Ds. They just can't be looking like fucking I can't remember his name, but the swamp dude from Resident Evil 8. Like, they can't be looking like that and expecting to be fucking, like, oh, why don't you like my character design? Like, unless it's the monster from Resident Evil 8, like, I don't want to see that.
J off to the hub. So much so, they think all lead females need to have that star look. effing dorks, we gave you effers wedges in school. Think this is their get back. LOL, effing losers. LOL.
I wonder how many footballs he caught.
Firstly, I got Opera on my phone.
Honestly, I wonder how many footballs he had to catch to get that level of confidence to say
Think this
fuck
is their
so many
get
times.
back. LOL, effing losers.
And to call people losers so many
LOL.
times on Twitter.
Did you guys just feel a wave of testosterone and alpha
like, I
male
was gonna
energy
say,
coming
like,
from this post?
he had to have at least
Absolutely
thrown
unbelievable.
10
What
footballs.
a Chad.
I want to say he threw at least 10 to 14 footballs right before he even threw this post. He was throwing them at the fucking fence. And then he was throwing them so hard that the fence actually bounced it back to him and he caught it. And as he was doing it, he was like, you know what? That's it. I'm going to write that fucking tweet.
This guy is. First of all, he said wedges here. Like, I don't know, you're going to give those people wedges of cheese, potato wedges,
I was wondering
perhaps?
what the fuck the wedge
Of course,
was.
he was trying to say
Oh,
wedgies.
wedgies. He's just trying to say
Which
wedgies.
is
He's retarded.
kind of funny.
I forgot.
I get why he probably
missed the
misspelled
like
this. He was
15th
probably
one
crying
hit
so
in the
hard
head. That's why he
while
made the
typing
tweet.
this out. The tears falling from his face probably messed with his keyboard. But anyways, look at this projection. This guy's talking hard, saying everyone's a loser and a virgin. If they have any sort of criticism for this character, which it's hard to find any.
Look, man, we in the gaming industry are marketing towards virgins. So if the character design is not satisfying the virgins, we're not doing it right. I'm sorry to say it, but that's how it is. We need to appeal to the virgins. The virgins are the ones that are going to keep us alive. They are the blood sacrifice for a reason. Keep the virgins around. Stop scaring them.
But that's besides the point. But then he's talking about how he bullied people in school like this. Oh, yeah, how tough. I mean, this is a projection. You know this guy. This guy wasn't just getting wedgies. He was getting swirlies. Like, that head was getting dunked in toilets, and now...
Oh, no. This dude was not getting bullied. I 110% disagree with him on this one. This dude, like I said, he is Mega Chad. He believes that we are fucking nerds. He 110% believes it because he's not in our space. He is so masculine and thinks he's so fucking big and tough that he would never even touch a video game. He gets near those things and he goes, ew, is that estrogen? Like...
He's coming back and he's trying to pretend like he was always the tough guy. And also, he's got this, like, revenge of the nerds narrative down here. This whole post is just screaming insecurity. And to really cap this off, the worst result here is that it's projection and this guy was bullied in school or something.
I don't think it's
the
projection.
best result, I guess, is that
I think he was
telling the truth.
And now
which would just mean he's bragging about bullying kids.
Well, no, that's what I was going to get at. He was the bully, and now he's bragging about it because he lost his sense of self because that was his peak. And now he thinks he can recapture his peak, so he's now bragging about his peak. It's the same thing as, like, when... Like, it's probably another example of his, like, when you're the fucking high school quarterback and then you fucking end up working at McDonald's for 10 or 15 years and then you go back to your high school reunion and you have that one time of everybody remembering when you were cool and you're like, oh yeah, I can relive it. So he picks up that ball again and he throws it, you know?
In school, like, yeah, sick, dude. That's real cool. That's a really normal response to discussions about a character's appearance in a video game.
Yeah, man.
But this was
Like,
one of the very
few
few people believing this post. In fact, you look at their responses and the number of likes, especially the ones coming from various content creators. Hypnotic saying, it kind of sucks knowing this is going to go viral, and you simply made this stuff up as bait and it worked. Good job. Smash JT says, literally no one...
It fucking worked beautifully. And that's the part that's actually a little scary. The fact that, like, now not only is he talking about it, but now I'm also talking about the fact that fucking, this dude outright... Oh, shit, I'm thinking the CoffeeZilla video. I need to get my fucking head straight a little bit. The fact that we're now talking about this, and the fact that this went as far as it did when nobody's even calling this character ugly is fucking wild. That, like, not only was the left able to pick it up, but I'm sure now fucking gamers in general are now picking it up and are going to talk about it because of how blatant rage bait it was for the left to pick up and how easily they just fucking ate it up and slurped it up.
saying this. Endymion says she looks fine. Savvy says, show who said it. And you got Jay Viper saying there is no note. Why is it still up? Are you openly grifting? Now, this was true for a couple of days. I've been hanging on to this video and the related topic for a couple of days now. And at one point, as pointed out here, for the last like 3 or 4 days, the note was removed temporarily. And I'll explain why that happened a little bit later in this video. But for a while, a couple days, the note was removed. And he had this to say about the possibility of the note being removed.
People called it a rage bait. I was like, okay, I'll make you a deal. If the community note comes off of that tweet, so then it actually makes me money, I will delete the tweets to prove to you I don't give a frick about this stupid social point rat race that you guys play.
He said all this,
so I just
and then
bought
it
a
came
Starbucks.
off,
And while I was here, I also bought
tweet.
this location in Atlas Earth. Now,
to you, I don't give a frick about this stupid social point rat race that you guys play. People called it a rage bait.
This social point rat race. Very high IQ
just sees how he thinks about the topic in the first place. He's not here to talk about it with us. He wants to just profit off of it. He gives no shit about it. He himself sees himself as a third-party outside force that is manipulating everybody in the conversation. That's how he sees it, and now everybody's calling it out for what it is, and everybody should call it out for what it is.
Assessment there, but of course the note would be reapplied, but all this doesn't really matter. They're acting like getting, you know, some level of engagement, a few thousand likes and a couple or 1,700 replies is some gold mine of ad revenue. This is Twitter. Like, this whole tweet probably made 20 cents. Like, unironically. So the fact that they're like, I'll take it down to end the grifts, it doesn't really mean much. But anyways, going back to the replies or people saying, stop making up stuff that no one is saying, bro. I have not seen a single...
No one's saying this like that at all. What's going on?
I was just trying to see you. I didn't realize under anything. I wasn't talk to you.
Person say that she was ugly. Yeah, no one's saying that. But here's a reply, since you obviously need the engagement,
this is a clear
money,
fucking rage
you dip. Okay, well, let's move forward a little bit here. We have a comment from Grums. Now, like the guy or not, agree with his takes or not, the amount of people who are seething about this guy's existence is fascinating to observe from the outside.
That
he
is
says with
the fairest thing that I think I've ever seen, because this dude fucking comments on every single time. Like, there's a female character that looks ugly. Like, dude ate up when Concord failed. Like, anytime any of this shit comes up, this dude comments on it. And if you can't find a single post from this dude saying that this character design is ugly, it never happened. Like, actually.
If that were true, I would have said it. But I don't think she's ugly, and you got it all wrong. This is just
this is clearly
baiting. And oddly enough, at the same time, someone else left a reply saying, that's Grum's brain rot for you. Amazing.
It's so fucking
he had
ironic.
a response. It's the exact opposite
No,
of
it
what
was
this person's saying. Then you look at their
opposite.
account. The first thing they want you to know about them, the first
Grum's trend
is
equals
Grum's
instant block.
tards equals instant block.
So then
imagine dedicating your entire...
They fucking literally turned around and was like, hey, this is his take, without ever... Like, they actually have everyone that has anything about him blocked. So they have no idea what his take even is on it. So he agrees with them, and then they're now, like, because they're in their own fucking little bubble, can't realize that he's actually agreeing with them, and then they're ironically, like, fucking blaming him for this take.
Online presence to some random person that you could easily just mute or block and then ignore forever. But, of course, after a couple of days, Reforged Gaming would come back with the receipts, the damning receipts, as you'll see. Here's everything. This is what the entire narrative that he's trying to propose is based on, that claims the protagonist was woke and ugly according to some users. Here's the first one from a single account on Twitter.
An RPG.
Protag looks woke. This
It
greatly
has quite a bit
diminishes
of
my
views, though,
interest in this
actually,
game.
but it's still not a lot.
Left-wing
Like, it's more than
cowards
I
are
would get
triggered by
anyway.
this. I prefer my women
And it's
in
just
video
the
games,
same dude
not
over
ugly.
and over again.
And here is
like,
the final
Imagine pulling a tweet up from nobody and being like, "Here's my evidence, guys." Everyone's saying it.
example. More evidence that a lot of dudes were instantly running with DEI
Where's
and
the
other
evidence?
anti-woke dog whistles. The minute this trailer hit, hold on a second.
What even are these?
Anti-woke dog whistles. That is the most terminally online thing I have ever
Like,
heard
honestly,
in my
yeah.
life. And believe me, I've heard a lot of things, okay? But this is the proof. This is from Asmongold's stream reacting
okay.
to all this.
Okay.
And this is the proof. Two people in the chat, or a couple people in the chat saying DEI game, or DEI. And two down here saying DEI.
Which, and then I'm sure Asmongold immediately after fucking paused and was like, "DEI games, I don't know, guys." Because he literally did it with Outer Worlds, which I had opinions on. You can't go see the video. I had my conversation with nobody. So, that's that. But he doesn't judge the game as being DEI off of the first glance. He at least lets it
Understand
breathe a
Asmongold's
little
chat.
bit before he immediately jumps to DEI. And his chat is the worst example on top of it.
And two down here saying DEI. Understand Asmongold's chat typically has 50,000+ people in it.
And a lot of them are fucking
You're
losers.
never going to control everyone. So
Yeah.
out of all of those people, you have a couple
I'm one of them, by the way.
circled
So, like, I
examples
know
here
they're
of random users saying DEI. Now, if you actually attend Asmongold's streams, I think it's very clear a lot of people like to troll him, right? They say stuff like this
Exactly.
to try to get him to
I was going to say, not only to get him to react to it, so people can literally do what's happening right now. So that way they can crop his chat and be like, "Look at all these bigots that are over here on this stuff." Like, imagine sending about 50 people over there to go be like, say racist shit over on his chat, and then screen capping it and be like, "Look at all the racist shit he lets people say on his chat." Like, it's pretty easy. Like, I could probably do it if I wanted to.
react to them. And in this case, I guarantee, knowing a little bit about Asmongold's content, he would say this game is not DEI. It's not woke.
Well, okay.
In fact, the only thing we see here is just people saying
I was going to say, I don't think he would say it's not DEI. I would think that he would have a neutral take on the stance. I would say he would say, let's wait to see more before we know if it's actually DEI or not.
DEI over and over again. Now, there's another element to this that is very funny. The YouTuber Vera Dark
Isn't
would
she
make a
part
video
of the
talking
woke
about
zone?
this same subject, the same tweet from Reforge Gaming, titled "Woke Loser Gets Wrecked for Claiming Gamers Think Resident
he's using
Evil
her video
9's
as
lead
a
is
reference.
ugly," which is a lie. And she would obviously criticize his post and say, "You didn't prove anything. You took a couple random posts across the internet and tried to give this narrative that that's what everyone's talking about," when that was obviously not the case. And he is absolutely fuming about her video. And
well, yeah, and I'm sure
he's
he's definitely not going to like this video, and he's definitely not going to like your video. Like, it's clear as day that this was fucking rage.
Crashing out over Vera Dark's video. Brace yourselves.
The fact that
this
he
is
had
peak cringe.
So Vera Dark put up a video on you. It was a laugh.
The fact that he had to clip Asmongold's chat for proof instead of clipping Asmongold himself saying it is proof enough. It's proof enough that this was supposed to be nothing but rage bait.
Oh, because of my tweet about the Resident Evil thing, and they're all in denial. They can put me in their
one's in
content
denial,
all they
bro.
want.
You're
I don't
in
care.
denial,
I don't.
yeah.
I will never appeal to their audience because I don't deal in grift and half truths. Listen to me.
That's perfectly fine. You never meant to appeal to their audience. You meant to appeal to the other audience by bashing their audience. Nobody sat here and told you that you were trying to appeal to them in the first place. You were trying to do the opposite. You were trying to get the people that don't like those people to click on your video. That's what you were actually trying to do. That's where you were grifting. You were grifting the other side by saying that this side is saying that something that they're not. Because like I said, both Grums and Asmongold, you would have been able to have a 30-second clip of Asmongold going off about how she's ugly, and you would have a tweet from Grums about how she's ugly. Like, clear as day. They're the people that talk about this shit all the time.
What I said got attention because a hit dog barks, and they've created and fostered a monster, and they don't want to admit it. They don't want to admit the fact that now every single time a minority or a woman is on screen, that's the conversation that starts immediately. And they don't want to admit it. They don't want to admit the fact that now every single time a minority or a woman is on screen, that's the conversation that starts immediately. A millisecond later, there are people typing DEI woke and up.
It's not, though. It's 110% not, though. Like, they don't immediately think something's DEI or fucking woke. Like, Clear Obscure Expedition 33, half of the cast are female protagonists that are strongly written woman characters. And that game came out this year, and nobody called that game woke. Literally, Mael... Oh, fuck, what was her name? I can't believe I'm drawing a blank. I needed to eat before I did this. I think her name was Cecil, but I think I'm actually pronouncing that wrong. And Luna, all of them are fucking excellent characters with their own flaws, dreams, passions, everything in between, more than just making them a fucking woman. And not a single person called it woke or DEI. So if we're so scared of strong female protagonists, why is that game going to win Game of the Year? If it doesn't, then the game show was rigged. Shit, sorry guys. If it doesn't, then the game show is rigged. Oh, shit.
Immediately. A millisecond later, there are people typing DEI woke and ugly in the chat. And it happened with Resident Evil 9, and they're all in denial. They can all say nobody's saying this, which is absolutely idiotic to claim. Plenty of people were saying it.
No, it's not that nobody's saying it. It's that the people that are saying it are fucking retarded, and the fact that you're paying attention to these people in the first place is your issue.
We had multiple tweets in response to my tweet saying that the woman was ugly. That is now a conversation piece for every frickin' game. And it came from the grifting anti-woke ilk of the internet. And
it's not, though, because if that's the case, then why is Stellar Blade not considered woke garbage? If a woman protagonist is considered ugly every time they're on the screen, then why have I literally seen the people that call all this shit woke garbage playing Stellar Blade and actually loving Stellar Blade? And other fucking gacha games and stuff like that. Tons of these games that have women protagonists and everything else like that. And the conversation is not ever around that. It's only ever around that whenever you have bad female writing, or you have fucking pushed female writing, or you have bad female character design. That is the only time you actually see these people pop up. Any other time are actual retards that you're feeding.
That's why they got angry, because when I said this is absolutely stemming from misery and loneliness, a hit dog barks, and that's what they make money off of. They make content for miserable and lonely men who are upset and angry, and they need something to hurl that emotion.
No. I would argue that I am the target audience for it. 110%. I click on it a lot of times to see what they're even talking about. I listen to them and then I give my own opinion of the situation. Like I said, I went into this video because I normally don't agree with this guy. Like the dude that makes this video, fucking Rev, says, like, I normally don't agree with this guy, but I 100% agree this dude was grifting. Like, and that's because I watched the video and I came to my own conclusion about it. And that's what these people do. We watch to see what the conversation actually is, and we watch to see what both sides actually say about the conversation, and where, if there is any issues, then we take our stance. If there's an actual issue, there is. That is, anyways. As in, i.e., fucking bad writing, bad mechanics, things that video gamers actually care about. And they only yell about the DEI stuff because they believe that it is a symptom of bad game design, which to an extent they are right in the AAA sphere, but in the AA sphere and the indie sphere, it's not as much.
People make money off of the emotional manipulation of disenfranchised men, and it's gross. And I threw a rock in the dark, and I hit a dog, and it barked. Because they were all like, oh my gosh, that's literally what this content thrives on, so we've got to attack this. Yeah, well, you'll learn very quick.
But what does that make? That doesn't make any sense, actually. You threw a rock, and that would suggest that you were making content, that you were making the content that these people like, and that they jumped on it and actually liked it. But that's not what happened at all.
Attacking me is a bad idea. It doesn't work.
Yeah, once again, there he goes with the, hit a dog and see who barks or whatever weird phrase he used. He really likes those.
I was going to say,
it's kind of funny.
dogs,
It's like, yeah, when you attack people and try to spread false narratives, some people are going to fight back. They're going to bark back, right? It's such a weird excuse, but this whole thing is just riddled with projection. Again, going off about these people being losers who do this stuff, and that Vera Dark is a grifter and people like her.
Yeah, that all these people that disagree with him are conveniently losers, right? Like, we're all conveniently losers that we don't agree with your opinion. That we all collectively sat together and said, hey, we don't think that. And you were like, yes, you do. Yes, you do. How could you say that you don't? You're a hit. I'm gonna go hit my dog.
Grifters, and they're exploiting lonely men because why? Because they criticize wokeness in video games. That's like some sort of exploitation of lonely men. Yeah, I don't think you're going to convince a lot of people that's like the narrative here, or something that's based in reality whatsoever. In fact, I'd say that's about as believable as...
On top of which, if that was the case, we would be like seeing the stats a lot more in that direction. And like, I don't click on a lot of fucking woke videos too often. I mostly click on videos about video game discussions in general, and I click on the woke ones. Well, no, I will say I click on the woke ones quite a bit. And like I said, it's mostly to see what's going on in the conversation, and I want to see both sides of the conversation and come to my own conclusion. And my conclusion on this one is that fucking dude, like I said, I follow these guys quite often. I feel like I would have heard this narrative beforehand. Like I said, I fully went into this thinking that, like, Rev was going to think this was a ugly character design. So I'm already at a disposition, but because I heard him out, I now realize I agree with him. So, like,
this tweet claiming that everyone's calling this character ugly and woke. And you know what I'm saying?
Like, I just feel like
it's so weird to always hear people project about everyone being a lonely loser and yada, yada, yada. It's like they have nothing real to say. They have no real counter. They're just insecure about getting criticized for this. They're probably insecure about a lot of other things that they're saying stuff like this to random people on the internet.
I was going to say, his wife's boyfriend must be
that's
really
just what's
fucking
going on here.
Like, his wife's boyfriend must be really fucking railing her in through the other wall for him to be typing this shit.
And that's the response to people like Reforge Gaming trying to, well, create narratives and push agendas, to own the chuds, and to squash out those alt-right dog whistles. They've actually made a new one, the anti-woke dog whistle. I'm sorry, my apologies on that one. But yeah, for now, that's going to do it for this video and this amazing tweets. As always, feel free to share your thoughts about today's topics in the comment section down below.
110% making shit up to get engagement and to fucking rage bait and farm interaction. Like, I've done it before. Like, I know how the shit works. Like, it was clear as day. You just didn't come with enough evidence. Like, next time you decide to grift, come up with a little bit more evidence beforehand. Just don't fucking grift without evidence. That's like, if you have to be able to back up your point more than just a couple of screenshots. Like I said, he should have full on had a 30-second to a full minute clip of Asmongold going on about how that character design was fucking ugly and dog shit before he made that tweet. He should have had that. He should have had like fuck I said, Grums, I forget what his name actually is. He should have had his fucking tweet up there about how the character design was ugly, because every single time there's an ugly character design or a DEI character design, he's one of the first ones on the scene. He's like the fucking news reporters that are first, like, they're with the first responders on the scene, like, every single time, and he's sitting over the body going, oh, that's pretty fucking ugly. Like, and he's doing it publicly. It's not like he's, like, hiding this stance or anything. But anyways, though, I think that's it for this, for tonight. I'm gonna fucking pack it in. Peace, peace. Well, if my phone will let me, actually.